Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be practicing dividing 4-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. Let's just jump into it with this first problem. 1000 divided by 12. Our first step is to see if we can fit 12 into 1. We can't, so let's look at 10. We can't do that either, so let's look at 100. Now, since 12 is within our multiplication tables, we know that 12 times 8 gives us 96, and that should be enough. So 12 times 8 is 96. And we subtract, and we get 4. Then the next step is to bring down the 0. And notice I put the 8 on top of the last digit that we were looking at in 100, so above that last 0, or the second 0. We bring the other 0 down, and now we have 40. Now we're trying to divide 40 by 12 and seeing how many times 12 can go into 40 without going over it. 12 times 3 is 36. And we subtract again, and we get 4. We don't have anything else to bring down anymore, so 4 is our last number, and it will be our remainder as well. So our answer is 83, remainder 4. Now let's try 1003 divided by 12. Since the first couple digits are the same, we know that we have to look at 100. And we know that the first number is going to be 8 again. So we're going to put 8, 96, subtract, we get 4. And now the next step we're going to do is bring down this 3. Now we have 43. That's still too low of a number for us to try to guess 4, because 4 times 12 is 48, so it's still going to be 3. And when we multiply it, it's 36, and when we subtract, it's going to be 7. Now 7 is less than 12, so it's okay as a remainder, so our answer is 83, remainder 7. Now let's try 1113 divided by 12. Now we know that the first 2 digits doesn't work, so we're going to look at the first 3 digits again. And since it's just one more than 100, we know that it's also still going to be 8, and we put that above the 1. 12 times 8 is 96. We subtract, and we get 5. Now the next step is to bring down the 3. So now we have 53. How many times can we put 12 into 53 without going over 53? 12 times 4 is 48, and that's about the closest we can get. So we multiply it, and we write it underneath 53, then we subtract. And you can do this in your head, or you can do it on paper, and you get cross out, and you get 4. You put a 1 in front of the 3, so you get 13. 13 minus 8 is 5. 4 minus 4 is 0, and your answer is 5. Now 5 is less than 12, so it's also our remainder, and our answer is 84, remainder 5. Now let's do 1103 divided by 12. So the first 2 digits don't work, so we're going to have to look at the first 3 again. How many times can we put 12 into 110 without going over it? Now, this time 8 seems to be a little too low, so we're going to do 9 this time, because we can fit 9. 12 times 9 is 108. When we subtract 110 minus 108, we get 2. That's a pretty good answer, so 9 is on track. Now we bring down the 3, and we get 23. And to put 12 into 23, 1 time is the most number of times we can put it in, because 2 becomes 24, and that's too much. So we're only putting in 1 time, and we multiply, and we subtract. So 23 minus 12 is 11. 11 is less than 12, so 11 becomes our remainder, and the answer is 91, remainder 11. Let's try another problem. 1113 divided by 12. we know that the first 2 is too little, so we're going to look at the first 3. It's only one more than the one we just did, 110. 111 is one more than 110, so we know that 9 should still work. 12 times 9 is 108, and we subtract, and we get 111 minus 108. You can do it in your head. You get 3. And now we bring it down the next 3. We get 33. Now we're going to do 33 divided by 12, or the best we can do with that. And 12 times 3 is 36, which is too much, so we're going to do 2. 12 times 2 is 24. And we subtract again, and you can do this in your head or on paper. I'm just going to do it in my head. We get 9. And that's less than 12, so that's a good remainder. So it's 9. The answer is 92, remainder 9. Next problem, we're going to do 2,345 divided by 56. Now, these are completely different numbers than the ones that we did before, so we're going to have to start from scratch. Can we put 56 into 2? No. 23? Still too low. So now we're looking at 234, which is a bigger number that we probably don't know off the top of our head, but we can do some estimation. So let's estimate 56 to be around 50, and 234, or let's try 56, go up to 60. 234, let's bring it up to 240. 240 divided by 60 is equal to 4. So let's try 4. It may or may not work. It's just a guess. Now we multiply out. So 6 times 4 is 24. We carry the 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus the 2 that we carried over is 22. And it did work. So now we subtract. 234 minus 224 is 10. Next step is to bring down the 5. And we have 105. Now we're trying to see how many times we can fit 56 into 105. The problem is 2 times 56 is too much. So we're just going to do 1. And then we subtract, and we can do this on paper. So first we're going to cross out the 1. This becomes 1. Or actually, this becomes 10. This becomes 10. And we cross this out to be 9. And this becomes 15. So 15 minus 6 is 9. And then 9 minus 5 is 4. So we get 49. And that's less than 56, so that's okay as a remainder. So our remainder is 49. Which is a big remainder, but it's okay. Next problem we're going to do is 6,021 divided by 45. And so first we're going to look if we can put 45 into 6. It's not possible, so let's look at 60. That is possible, so we'll stick with 60 for now. And it seems like it's clear that we can only fit it in one time. So 1 goes above the 0 position. And then we multiply out, and we get 45, and we subtract. 60 minus 45 is equal to 15. Next step is to bring down the 2. How many times does 45 go into 152? It seems like 4 times is too much. So let's try 3 times. Because 4 times would be at least 160. So let's try 3. 45 times 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus the 1 is 135. And we subtract. This becomes 4. This becomes 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. We're left with 17. That's less than 45. So 17 becomes... Oh, no, we're not done yet. I almost made a mistake there. We still have that 1 left over. Don't forget to do stuff like this. Don't forget about your other digits. This is why it's important to write your numbers in the right position on top of in your answer on top of the original problem, because otherwise you lose track of like where exactly you are and how many digits you are. So 17 is less than 45, but we still have one more number to bring down. So we're going to bring down the 1, and we get 171. Now we're trying to see how many times 45 goes into 171. And I think 4 is still too many times, because off the top of my head, 40 times 4 is 160, 5 times 4 is 20, and 160 plus 20 is 180. So we're going to stick with 3 again. 45 times 3 is what we did before. It's 135. Now we subtract, and we're going to cross this out, put a 6. This becomes 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. We get 36. That's less than 45, so 36 is our remainder. Whew, that was a long one. Okay, our answer is 133, remainder 36. Next problem, last problem, 6,106 divided by 78. We're first going to look at whether 78 can go into 6, no, 61, no, 610. It's a large number. So 610 is more than, so if we multiply 78 by 10, it's 780, so we know it's less than 10. It's more than half, though, so it's a little less than 780. So I'm going to try 8 and see if that works for us. 8 times 8 is 4, or 64, but we're going to write the 4 and carry the 6. 7 times 8 is 56, plus the 4 from before, and we get 604. That seems to be the right track. So now we subtract 610 minus 604. Off the top of my head, that's only a 6 number difference, so the answer is 6. The next step is to carry the last digit down. So now we have 66. 66 is less than 78, but we don't have anything else to bring down. So how many times does 78 go into 66? 0. Don't forget to write the 0. Now we multiply out as per usual. 78 times 0 is 0, and when we subtract, we get 66 again. Finally, this is our remainder. We can't forget it, otherwise we wouldn't have a digit here. So make sure you write the 0, then you write remainder 66. And that concludes our practice dividing 4-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.